So I mean, it's unfortunate, and that ruined his race as well with a lap one turn one exit. Then let's go to heart, and I'm so sure the Mexicans were, he needed a decent outing, but we still have three more races to go. We have Brazil, we have Las Vegas, and we have Abu Dhabi. So the fight for P2 in the Drivers' Championship is still on.
Through goes Hamilton! You can hear the cheers from Monza!
The mics are on and off we go.
Hi guys, my name is Vinny and welcome to the Will Spin Podcast, the home of Formula One content and everything motorsports. So today I'm debriefing the Mexican Grand Prix solo, but Trey will be back for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We are headed to the third of the triple header to Brazil. So I'm gonna keep my thing brief. I'm gonna keep it very brief. So generally, just talking about anything momentous that happened throughout the weekend. So we had done already. We had a video out already that we debriefed, like the preview of the Mexican Grand Prix before. So right now, I'll just basically take you through the weekend and what stood out for us. So this is a weekend that's so upfront low. This is a weekend that's a front row lockouts by Ferrari. So we had the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc taking pole, and Sainz follow him closely in P2, and finally the champion, the 2023 champion, in P3. So this. I don't know if there's anything that stood out for me this weekend. There's a lot of talking points for me, and today I will have so I think the surprise events of this weekend were Ferraris taking pole position. I mean, taking from during FP3. FP3 is where we do a lot of qualifying simulations, and they didn't get enough track time, or we didn't see a lot of running from the Scarlet team. So them coming into qualifying, struggling in Q1, Q2. Okay, not struggling, but also not being like front runners. So and then them appearing in Q3 and stunning the Mexican crowd and taking pole and says being P2 was something to actually talk about. So we also had Danny Rick qualifying ahead of Checo Perez in P4, which is commendable. So I mean, this is it's a second weekend out for Danny Rick after that break he had with his injury. So, and for him to come out here and have such a decent weekend, that is something again to commend him on. So that was qualifying. Ferrari on top, followed closely by Max Verstappen, who could not. I mean, it was like an anomaly again for the RB19, something that we're used to seeing running so comfortably around all tracks, and for them to actually not find their sweet spot around the Mexican Grand Prix circuit, then that was that is something to actually point out. So I think I can just basically go into the race. Turn one, lap one. I mean, starting Max was actually starting on like the most optimal place you can start at the Mexican Grand Prix. So he could take advantage of the slipstream ahead of the two Ferraris, and he had an excellent start. He came from P3 and was leading the race already. And we also saw the home favorite Checo Perez spin out of the track. So I mean, of course, we did see a lot of booing by the crowds, booing Charles Leclerc for the incident, but there was an investigation but that was carried out, and there's no you could argue it both ways. Like, there were three cars going around the same track. I don't know if Perez was aware that Charles Leclerc was at the middle, and then there was also Max Verstappen, was it, or Carlos Sainz? So for them to actually I think Perez came from the outside, tried to take the corner together with Charles Leclerc, and that wasn't going to end very nicely, was it now? So I mean, it's unfortunate, and that ruined his race as well with a lap one turn one exit. Then let's go to heart, and I'm so sure the Mexicans were he needed a decent outing, but we still have three more races to go. We have Brazil, we have Las Vegas, and we have Abu Dhabi. So the fight for P2 in the Drivers' Championship is still on because we had a decent outing for the Mercedes. For Lewis Hamilton, he drove he is, I mean, we keep on saying Lewis is a tire whisperer. He is really a tire whisperer because a two stop, okay, a one stop strategy was, poised to be the most ideal around this track. And one stop or two stop, a two stop. Was it a two stop? Yeah, because I think first we had no one stop. One stop makes more sense, right? Because we had drivers starting on mediums and then pitting for hards, and some of them pitted for mediums again. So there are those who are going to take two stops, and there are those that committed to the one stop. And Max Verstappen was fairly ahead, and I wanna also acknowledge Mercedes. Mercedes yesterday had quite decent pit stops, like 2.5. At least we didn't get to 3 seconds, at least with our stops. And the strategy was tricky. I mean, everyone was so worried about Lewis going for the mediums and not um, making it to the end. And also, I think the other reason why maybe the one stop worked for most teams was we had a number of interruptions, like in the Grand Prix we had that nasty accident of K Mag. It was so nice to see him come out of it, not injured at all. So actually, we had the session getting red flagged, and when the red flag the session, that means so many changes you can actually change your tires. As in, it basically neutralizes the race. And the other thing is that now we were going to get a standing like start again. So that means we were going to have the cars slot into their grid positions, the positions they were in before the session was actually red flagged. So that the tires were going to play a big a big role. Remember, like, the softer the compound, it gives you more grip, and it warms up quite quickly compared to the other compound. So Max had already pitted before the red flag, like he had pitted, but he had quite a decent gap, so he wasn't going to lose track position. So there was a brief safety car, and then now the session was red flagged to repair the barriers actually. So I think pitting, we weren't. I mean, we weren't going to see so many changes because, again, I don't think the drivers had so much tires in their disposal. So we had some of the drivers retaining the cars they had. Lewis Hamilton put on a pair of scrubbed mediums. That means some used mediums, and, like, I mean, we were quite far off from the end of the race, so it was actually like a big gamble. And Lewis is a tire whisperer. I mean, guess how many times we have to call his bluff. Like, yeah, Bruno, my tires are gone, and then he ended up setting the fastest lap time and getting that extra point to his championship charge. So I think after the red flag, we got a very good race restart, and Max again got comfortably ahead. I mean, I didn't think he was going to struggle so much, but on the hard, he was a bit worried. But then I don't think that was going to stop the Dutchman. He has been relentless in his 2022-2023 campaign. Lewis overtook Leclerc, yeah, for P2. Leclerc again was, I think they were on hards, yeah. So he took Leclerc and, yeah, ended up taking P2, and I think that is always brilliant to watch. Check Max Verstappen had, like, I don't know, quite a decent, more than decent, because I think he finished the race 15 seconds ahead of it. I think a little over, like 15 seconds ahead of literally everyone. And the thing is, like, I don't know, like, this RB19, and particularly like Max Verstappen, cannot be stopped because this is a guy who is, going for, I mean, we say records are there to be broken, and he is doing exactly that. He took his 16th win of this season. Like, that is crazy. And he topped his wins. So he has now 51 wins, and I think he's fourth now on most wins by a Formula One driver. Like, I think he's standing next. That is, I think the people who are ahead of him, is Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, and Sebastian Vettel. He has been relentless. Red Bull have been relentless. Like, I mean, he's already won the championship, but he is going. He is going. He keeps on going, and he keeps going, going, going. I think the other thing that I also noticed about the race was AlphaTauri, after their upgrades, they have been running very nicely. They were both running in the points, like sometime during the race until that Yuki Tsunoda got a bit more a bit more greedy. I mean, which is okay because I mean they're there to race. So got greedy and tried to take PSG, and he ended up getting tagged by PSG, and then that kind of relegated him down to outside the top 10. So that means he wasn't get a point from the race. I think the thing is, and I remember there was like that stuck comparison between Tsunoda's and Piastri's reactions to both the incident. I mean, Piastri is always so zen, so he was so zen. He's like, okay, like, oh, that happened. Tsunoda was furious, like, yeah, you've ruined. But then again, instead of getting so worked up on the team radio, like, get back to your race. You can still. I mean, he did end up finishing, I think, around P12. So that means if he had not wasted so much time being furious on team radio, but which is completely understandable because again, it's a high adrenaline sport. You're in your zone. You're operating on this. You're driving very fast, and someone is tagging you out of the way. You think you're running the points, and then that happens, and then. But I still feel like he could have done it. Like, just get your head down. That happened, but he didn't take you out of the road. Like, he didn't take you out of the race. So I felt like there was more for him to extract from the car. Seeing as also Danny Rick also finished in the points. Like, he got points for Alpha Tauri. That saw them move from I think P10 to P8 right now. So and it got them some decent points. So that was really that was also like something else I noticed. I think also during the race we saw that Charles Leclerc was going to be investigated for I think driving unsafely or something like he had like after that Checo Perez like incident on turn 1, so he had like I think a loose bit of his and anyway did end up coming off the end plate of his car. But then the regulations and FIA did apparently it's not unsafe. Like apparently it doesn't cause so much risk. So we didn't see any any penalties coming his way. I think the other thing was that also even after Lewis Hamilton and I think and Charles Leclerc crossed the line, like I was also like a bit careful not to celebrate. So we will only celebrate after the scrutineering, like by FIA is over because last time we remember what happened. Like Lewis was running a P2, a very decent P2, and then we got disqualified together with Charles Leclerc. So I think it's like PTSD, man. So we were just like, oh yeah, we will wait it out and see what what will happen. But so scrutineering processes were over, and we retained our P2 and our P3. Like it's such like a great thing. Like the two bros, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, coming from a tough weekend last weekend when they were got disqualified, and now the boys are up in the podium. I think I did see Bottas. I think there was an incident with Bottas. I forgot with who. Oh, Bottas and Lance Stroll. Bottas did end up getting penalized. I think for causing a collision. So he got a time penalty and also got some penalty on his super license. So yeah. I think the Alphas as well. I think Alfa Romeos. That's also some other good things to mention. They did qualify. They did make it through to Q3 as well. So I think by the way the grid is just getting bunched up in qualifying. It's so close. The times are so close. So maybe even we will get closer next year. But now we also would like to see a bit more closer racing during Sunday. That is the Mercedes development seems to be working. The floor, Lewis is coming alive, and it can only mean that they are on the right track for 2024. And I really do hope that that is a trajectory we keep, across, from now to next year. So I think who's the other person I think I should mention was who had a very decent Williams, of course. Williams, again, we said we love the trajectory that they've been on. They finished in the points. There were a number, I don't know if it's reliability issues, but we did see a lot of retirements. Like Alonso retired from the race. We had, of course, we had Checo, we had Alonso, we had K Mag after his accident, and then we had Logan Sargent retiring. Like I think later on, just when we're almost finishing the race, but he had some fuel pump issues. I think it's an issue that Ferrari have had before again. Um, so that was Logan Sargent, and then also Stroll. Like I think on lap 66, he also retired. So we had, I think, I know Lando joked about Aston Martin's like developing backwards, but I really do not. I thought they had data. I thought they were going to have like a good weekend, but they seem to be struggling because I think we've had both cars DNF. Like they retired their both cars, so that is Alpine. At least we did see Ocon finally, not finally. Ocon at least finished in the points and didn't get any penalty as well. So there is that, and then oh yeah, can we talk about Lando Norris? Lando Norris had a very like a mess. Like his Q1 was chaotic, and saw him exit quite early. But we saw him. He was actually voted driver of the day. So early, he had a great recovery driving from I think P17 to and finished P5. So I do not and okay. The other person I need to talk to about like I know I mean of course we have to we are all about we're all about comparison. Yeah, so Russell, I do not understand why he's struggling. I'm or maybe I mean he's relatively struggling compared to Lewis Hamilton. So um we just see him being a little bit in the mid. Like yeah, he's finishing in the points. I think that was his 15th finish in the points for Mercedes, I think, this season. So I mean, I don't know, but let's just that dynamic. We'll still continue talking about it. I don't know. Did Mercedes do the right thing by signing Russell? You guys tell me. I don't know. Like now we have to continuously think about it, like or talk about it, or maybe just give him time to acclimatize. We're going to Interlagos. Mercedes go really well around the autodromal circuit, like the Sao Paulo. They go around nicely, and I love Interlagos. I think it's like one of my favorite tracks as well, and I can't wait to see what Mercedes. I think we will take like a penalty or something. There's something we're bringing a new pew for unit. I am not very sure, but we are taking something new, and we are poised to be very fast. And we've seen that we are fast. We've gotten to P2 now. Can we get to P1? Can we challenge Red Bull for the win? If we are on the same trajectory. If we keep the pit stops up to that threshold, maybe we can do it. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's basically it from me from this end. The Mexican Grand Prix, the crowd is tantalizing, amazing. The news are still flying around about is Checo retiring? Are we seeing a Leclerc replacement into Red Bull? Those are just rumors. F1 Twitter is like it's in shambles now. Anyway, we hope to see you in a week's time, and I hope you just tell us what stood out for you from this Mexican Grand Prix. We also I've mentioned before we have another video that we talked about the Mexican Grand Prix and how many rookies drove during this weekend. So I can't wait to see Brazil. I'm quite excited. Now we're going to the final trip of our triple header in F1. Final trip to Interlagos, and I can't wait to catch you there. You have a brilliant start to the week, and we'll catch you out in a week at Interlagos.